So first of all, everyone should have a camera, or I'm sorry, a phone in front of them now. And if you see the background image, you can just tap on that to wake it up. And so most of you will see this screen, and this is the screen that we'll go through the steps to register your phone, and I'll walk everyone through that now. So as you see on the first step, it says you go to Microsoft.com/device login. So if everyone types that in a browser now, and then you'll get a page that'll pop up asking for a code. So if you press the refresh code button on your phone, that should generate a code there. Now you can sign in on the phone. It's just a lot easier going through the browser because it's a lot easier to type. So your code will be different than mine, but I will go along with you so everyone can see what it will be. So you can see it's asking for the code. I'm going to type mine in. All right. So I'm already signed into my Microsoft Office account. Most of you will be as well. So you'll just see your name there and signed in. So you could click that. If it's asking for your username, you'll use your first initial, full last name at donegalsd.org. That's your complete username you'll need to use. And then you'll enter your regular password. And once you enter that in or click your username, you'll come to this screen. You'll just hit continue. Once you register your phone, you should not have to register it again. If you if you have multiple rooms and you go to another room, you'll have to do this process on the other phone as well. If you have a phone that in a room that you share with someone, it will either use a generic account for that room, or you can use your laptop and cell phone. If you want to install the Teams app on your cell phone, you can use that to make calls and receive calls. Let me go back to the phone so you can see what it's doing here. So if there's a shared space, it might be easiest to just use your laptop to receive calls or your cell phone to receive calls. If a call goes through your app, it will show your number, and someone will, if you make a call, it will show your direct dial number. We're moving everyone over to the school district number, the main number, or I'm sorry, not the school, your school building as the main number for you. So when you dial out, it will show the school's number and not yours. Just some little tidbits while this is booting up. And if you have a situation where you're sharing room, contact us. We'll work everything out with everyone. So that's not a problem. If you come to this screen, just press the next button a couple times, and then you'll get to a got it screen. Just tap that. And then you'll come to your home screen. Real quick, want to mention I added some links in the chat. Those links are the same links for documentation, some guides that I sent out in an email as well. So when you get to your homepage, you'll notice the top right, you'll see your number listed there. This is your direct dial number. So if someone calls that number, it goes directly to your phone. You'll want to keep that in mind. I'm not sure if your principals or your admin will want you to hand that number out to parents, or if we'll just transfer calls to you. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to want to handle that, but if you give that number out, someone can call you directly. So if you do hand that number out, you want to make sure you tell them not to contact you during the day, because it will ring your phone. And that being said, if they do contact you during the day, you can put your phone in a do not disturb mode. And I'll show you how to do that now. If it's in do not disturb, a call will go directly to your voicemail. So right now I'm in do not disturb. I'm going to try to reach up and over so I'm not blocking the whole thing here. So next to your phone number in the top right is your profile picture. This profile, your profile links to all Microsoft products. So as soon as you change your status here, it will change for your email and also your Teams client on your desktop or your phone as well. So if you press on that, you'll see that mine says presenting because I'm presenting, obviously, but that's your status. So if you click on your status, you'll see a list of other status options. So presenting is a do not disturb. It's the same thing. So right now, if someone called my main number, it will go directly to my voicemail. If you are available, that means you don't have any meetings in your calendar. This correlates with meetings in your calendar. If it's set to busy, you will still get calls, but it will show as red on your phone or your status in Microsoft. So right now I'm on do not disturb. I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to tap off and get back to the home screen. So again, this is your home screen. Your notifications on the left correlate to your events they'll show any events that you have in your calendar just as a quick pop-up. You can also hit calendar to view any events in your calendar, your email calendar, if you would like. We will not be using extensions anymore. We're going to use a person directory. So you'll dial by name, and I'll show you that first. So in order to call someone, if you click the calls button, you can either type the number on the left here. You can always just start dialing a number on the number pad below, and that should automatically start dialing someone's number. If you dial a 7-digit extension, or I'm sorry, a 7-digit number, it will assume the 717 area code. So keep that in mind. If you dial 653-0643, for example, it will complete that call and throw a 717 in front of that. If you dial any other number that needs the area code, you're going to need to use a 1 and the area code followed by the number. So any local long distance, any long distance number, stick to local long distance, but like a cell phone number, if it has a different area code, always press 1 first and then dial the number. It's just better practice to do that. You'll see favorites listed here, and I just threw some on here quick. If you call someone, they'll go under your recent tab, and I'll go over this then, and then you can add them to favorites. That's the easiest way to add someone to favorites. To make a call to someone, you would just want to go here, press this purple circle with a phone, and then search for that person's name. So this should come up here. And so if you wanted to call them, you could press the over on this side, on the right where my finger's poking out, you would press that to call them directly. Now, if you wanted to call multiple people in a conference call kind of situation, you should be able to click on their name to add them and then tap in the search again and then search for someone else. But if you're dialing one person, which is in most cases will be the case, in most situations will be the case, you'll search for their name and press the phone icon on the right. So I'm just going to go back. I'm not going to make a call now. And like I said, once you call someone or they call you, you'll see them listed in the recents. So you'll scroll up and down. You'll see everyone in the recents. You can just let that go. That will clear out eventually. I'm not sure how many numbers it will keep there. Once someone dials you or you dial them, you can click on that number and then click the star. That will automatically add them to your favorites. And so you should see that pop in. That will pop into my speed dial eventually. I'm actually going to take that off because I don't want that. And that might not be a great number to test with. Oh, it did add. Sorry, I didn't see it there. So when that's in your favorites, I would add anyone there that you call frequently. Because then instead of looking up their name each time, you can just press that button and it will give them a call. The quickest way of doing it. You can also set up a group and add contacts to your group that way through the Teams app on the desktop. That's a little easier if you want to add multiple people at the same time. That documentation is in the links I sent under View or Add Contacts in Teams. So we can go over that later if you're really struggling, but that should sum up how you add contacts from the Teams app itself. I recommend just doing it this way. You only have so much space for contacts anyway, or favorites anyway. So once you get them situated, that should help you out there. I'm going to go under More at the bottom here. If you click that, you'll see a couple other apps. You can click Reorder, and then you can move these apps up and down to add them to the bottom. So if you wanted to reorder, add everything, you'll see everything, and I'm going to hit back. You'll see everything. Well, it might not have saved that. Sorry about that. Let me hit reorder again here. And save at the top. I'm just going to do a little quick reboot there, but now you see all the apps are on the bottom. So that might be beneficial to you. So if you're trying to get to people or you don't care about the calendar, you can reorder that so the calendar is now not showing any way you would like to do that. But people, I'm going to show you that real quick. If you go under people, this will show you, you can go here to add a group on the phone or add a contact to your existing groups. So if I wanted to add someone to my favorites, I could go here, add from directory. And then again, in the search, search for the name. And then you'd pick the group that you would want to add them to. Now you won't have all these groups. You'll have probably just speed dial, maybe favorites and speed dial. If you want them to go on the quick contacts under calls, I believe favorites and speed dial will both show there, but this is technically the speed dial group. So, and again, that's linked in the, I believe that's linked in the documentation I sent out as well, but you would just go people, add, and then you'd search the directory for someone. And if you wanted to create a special group to keep everyone lumped together and organized, you could create group with that plus, and then name the group, and then go through the adding process there. I'm just going to hit home. You'll see on your phone buttons, you'll see a purple button that has the Teams logo, and I can try to zoom out here quick. It's a little harder to see. It's a little dark in here. But that would be this button right here. So that will take you home every time. So if you're under voicemail, click home, it'll take you right back. And while we're here, I'll show you these. If you're in a call, you can press this button with the pause here. That is the hold button. So if you're in the middle of a call, you have to ask someone a question quick, you can press them on hold, go take care of something else. And the transfer button here, that will allow you to transfer to, I'm going to actually make a call so I can show you here quick. But that will allow you to transfer to someone else or transfer to their voicemail. Give me a second while I call myself. All right. Sorry about the multiple ringing. I'm signing in a couple different phones here. So I'm going to accept that. So right now I'm in the call. This is what it would look like. There's options at the bottom here. The main thing is if you press the ... you'll get a couple different options. You can put on hold or transfer there, or you can press these buttons down here like I suggested. If you press transfer here, that will again take you back to your search, and then you would just search for someone's name. And I'm sorry, Ness, I keep picking on you here, but we share the same name. So once you press transfer, you search for their name. You can click on their name, and it will transfer that call immediately to them. Now, I will say that we learned that you have to keep that phone line active while the transfer is being made until that person picks up or goes to their voicemail before you hang up or end the call. If you want to send it to voicemail, to their voicemail right away, instead of clicking on their name, you just want to go over here and press the, oh, fat fingered it, sorry. Let's try that again. Bear with me real quick. Doing this on an angle too, so it's a little difficult for me. Okay, transfer. So I'm going to press the ... You can send that to their voicemail right away instead of transferring them. It's called a blind transfer instead of transferring it directly to the person. So if you would press work voicemail, it'd send right to them. I'm just going to back out of there. I'm going to end this call because we don't need it anymore. And the last thing I really have to go over with you, I think, is the voicemail. So your voicemail is automatically set up. It's a recording with your name. So I can't remember exactly what it says. It's something like so and so is not available. Please leave a message, something to that effect. And it's an automated recording of your name. Most of them are spot on. Every once in a while there'll be a little hiccup with the pronunciation. If you don't like the automated recording, you can change that. If you go to click on your profile, click on settings, click calling, you'll see change voicemail greetings right there. You could click that and then do some different things with your voicemail. I would, if it sounds fine to you, I would just leave it go and then leave it as is. Voicemails will go to your voicemail on your phone. They will also automatically go to your email in your mailbox, your email mailbox, it's inbox. If you delete your email from your inbox, it will automatically delete from your voicemail on the phone. So that's a really nice feature, but you have to be careful because if you accidentally delete the email, it will delete from your phone as well. Now you can always go back to your deleted items or search your email, and at that point we can do a recovery if we truly need to, because we do we have storage that copies all emails so for later dates in case we need them. But I recommend trying to get a system down, whether you check it on your phone and then delete the email separately, or you check everything in your email and then delete from the phone, or I'm sorry, then delete it from your inbox and they will automatically delete from your phone. That's up to you how you want to manage that. The voicemail will come in just as an attachment and it will transcript it so you can read that instead of listening to it. So you can do a quick read through of the voicemail. Again, it's all automated, so it might be a little off, but you should be able to get the gist of the email at least. And then, or the voicemail, I'm sorry. And then you can delete that email or forward it to someone or keep it in a folder if you need to keep a hold of it. So other than that, I think that's all I have for you. Are there any questions? I'll go back to I'll stop sharing here. All right, let me see here. I got a long one. Oh, looks like it transcripted all of my recording. So there you go. If you really want to read it, you can go back through the chat there.
Eric, there are some questions in the chat that might help you. One is, if the internet were to be down, can calls and emergency calls still be made?
No. So the phones work. They work on an internet connection, and they work on a wireless one. So if we notice wireless is spotty and we're having trouble with it, we might go back through and hardwire, or at least make that available. I suggest using your phone and installing the Teams app on your phone. I know some people might not like that idea, but it's fantastic in cases like that where if you need to make a quick call and you're not at your desk or something were to happen with our desk phones, you would still have that access to make that call or receive a call.
There's also one that says we used to have codes at the high school that would work to contact everyone. For instance, 51911 for emergency to administrators and 51882 to activate speakers. Do we still have access for sort of all call administrators and emergency?
Yeah, the 51882 still works, and that's more of an office thing. The 51911, that does not work as it used to. We're going to have to set up something else to mimic that, but we will have something like that in place. And currently, pressing 0 will not get you to the office, but I'll get something in place that you could press either 0 and then hit the call button, or press another combination and get to the office.
And there's a lot of questions about screen access for substitutes, and
Not sure
Yeah,
what screen
yeah.
access is, but
Matt Deller said, should we set a screen lock password so unauthorized people can't access our accounts?
that's up to you. You could.
And
Yeah,
what
but
about
it's
sub?
well, then they wouldn't be able to make a call. So
But would they receive calls?
yeah, if someone calls like Matt's number, that call would go through to that phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So since we're getting rid of extensions, it would just be again that name dialing. So you would search for a name. So if that were the case, then the office is calling. Let's use Matt for the example. Still, they would call Matt. It would ring on that phone because Matt would stay signed in. Now, if there was a lock or something, the sub might not have that password. So
I think part of this is Leah. Part of the question Nicole asked is like the phone has access to some of the emails if it's connected to a calendar. Is there any way that we can change things so that like that type of stuff is private so that, you know, not everybody that would just walk by your phone have access to that?
yeah, I can look into it. There might be a calendar policy that we can get rid of and then apply that to whoever doesn't want that to be available. That's something we can look into.
And then I just had one other question. If we have our phone in like do not disturb mode to block outside calls, can people that are inside the building or like
No, they will.
administration,
They will. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. I'm sorry, finish that up.
that would all go to voicemail?
Correct. So if you're in do not disturb, that's why I suggest don't give out your direct dial number to just everyone. And if you do, say, hey, I'm not going to answer it during the day. If you'll see if it's coming from the outside, because if someone from the office calls you, they'll show their name. So you could, while you'll hear the ring, you could decline it or deny it.
Okay.
But yeah, if you don't give it out, then you won't get those calls during the day, so it won't be as big of a deal. But if you do put your status in do not disturb, then you'll have to remember to take it off.
Thank you.
During a field trip, sometimes school staff know which students have severe allergies.
Apparently, I don't have to talk anymore because we're just going to listen to whoever
Threatening allergic
has
reactions.
their thing going on.
Or medical history. It's important.
This is Tim.
Yeah. What's up, Tim?
Just real quickly here. You mentioned calling out. What about 911? Does it, if you just dial 911 on the phone, does that get you the 911 number?
Yes, that should. And we'll have to do some testing to make sure. We can only do so much testing because they don't like us. They get a little upset when we test. But yes, that should work. And we're looking at the E911 stuff as well. So that gets even more granular into what we need to do. But yes, that would work.
So, Derek, just so we're all clear, there's no way to use this thing just as a standalone telephone without all these features being unlocked and available to anybody that walks up to the phone. Is that correct?
I mean, the only thing that's available is the calendar and the voicemail. You don't have to dial a password, but other than that, it's similar to being able to call whoever before, right? So if we look into the calendar issue, and again, the voicemail is there, but if you're managing the voicemail from email or deleting it from your phone, then they're not going to be listed there anyway. It would just be like a regular call.
Well, I'm just thinking, even beyond that, like anybody could press that profile button and go into settings. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can look into maybe locking those settings out. There's not much damage they can do with that. Like they might be able to change your voice. I mean, maybe I'm giving the kids too much credit, but I wouldn't think they would go in and mess around with your phones while you're not there. But yeah, like I said, maybe I'm just giving people too much credit.
Well, again, you want to put your phone somewhere where obviously, you have some control over who can access it.
Right,
You're probably going to have it on your teacher desk, no different than your old phone.
Yeah, it's on the
but
desk.
I know what you're saying. I get both sides of it. So maybe that's where you may want to set a pin. That way, you know, somebody just can't happen by it, especially after hours. Who
Right.
knows, the door gets left open, whatnot, somebody wanders in. I mean, I don't, I don't know how often that would happen, but a pin's probably your safest bet.
Okay, and
Yeah.
with that pin activated, you can't, without typing in the pin to unlock the phone, you can't use the number pad, just pick up the handset and dial a number, correct?
I haven't messed with pins, so I don't know. I can set it on this phone here quick. Actually, if everyone wants to hang in, we'll go through it together.
Yeah, I have mine set, and you have to type it in before you can make a call. You can make an emergency call. You could do 911 without entering the pin, but you can't. You can receive calls, but you can't make calls.
All right, let's go back here and I'll share this again. All right, so let me just close that out. Let me get home. So if you go up to your profile, you go settings. And I believe I was under profile. Nope, sorry, ignore that. I was under device settings. And then phone lock. And you'd turn that on. You'd set your PIN. Make it real complicated. And then hit the check. Oh, so PIN length must be 6. We'll make it even more secure. So now if we go home, and then, I don't know, we might have to reboot the phone. So let me reboot that real quick to make sure to see if that does anything. I'm gonna put my mic down. And you can just unplug the phone if you want to reboot it. There's nothing fancy about it. Just wait a couple seconds, plug that back in.
Does it have to have the Cat 6 cable, or are they Wi-Fi?
It's Wi-Fi, so which is nice. I mean, if we don't have problems with the wireless, then it's really nice because then you just need an outlet to plug the thing in.
Would you recommend putting a Cat 6 in, or just leave it on Wi-Fi?
Well, we're going to try to leave it Wi-Fi and see how it goes.
Okay.
But since your old phones had Cat 6, we're not removing switches anytime soon. We could easily just unplug it from your old phone and plug it in to the existing Cat 6 that your old ShoreTel phone had. Hey, look, there you go. So if you press the link, so this is an option. You'd want to make sure you leave that pin with the with your sub or with the office at least. And we might want to have some kind of system, maybe the IT. I don't want us to have to manage it necessarily, but you want to share it out just in case there's a situation where you get sick and you're not, you're thinking of getting your class resources together for the sub, but that might be something that you miss or slips your mind. But that looks like it would be an option if you want to keep it secure. Any other questions?
Derek, I don't know if you addressed Bree's question, but basically, Bree, what you have to remember now, people are looking up people and not looking up phones. So if you log in to both the phone in B135 and B139, both phones will ring. It's all a matter of who's signed into the phone. So technically, you could be signed into 30 phones and all 30 phones would ring if somebody looked up your particular your user.
Yeah, and that
Thanks,
gets
John.
back.
That's helpful.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and that gets back to if there's an area that's shared, it can get a little complicated with who is signed in with the phone. And I can actually go back here. You can do what's called hot desking. And so if you click your profile and click hot desk, you could stay signed in. Whoever is in that room for the majority of the time can stay signed in. And if you go in for a little bit of time, you can go click your profile, hot desk, and then you would sign in. And so when you sign in, it just basically temporarily allows you to sign in. Now it's nice that you can have that ability, but it takes time to type things out and sign in. So if you're willing to, sorry, I'm just clicking around now. If you're willing to sign in, that's great. You could still have that main person signed in, and you hot desk in when you're in that room, and then you could remove that hot desk when you're done, to have that phone operate under both names. But typically it would stay under one person. Or if it's a common area room, we're just going to have a generic account, a generic name for that account.
As Derek alluded to before, don't forget, this is also built into the Teams app on your PC. So if you have Teams open on your PC is going to ring when somebody makes a call. If you have the Teams app on your cell phone and you have that open, now it's also going to ring your cell phone, it's going to ring your computer, and it's going to ring your desk phone. So basically, wherever you are, you're going to be able to receive calls that are made to you, to that direct dial number. Everything's going to ring. So keep that in mind too. If you don't want to be disturbed, like Derek said, if you set your phone to to do not disturb, that's going to shut down everything. But if you just simply close the Teams app on your PC, then your PC won't ring. Likewise, if you close the Teams app on your cell phone, if you happen to install that, then your cell phone won't ring for a Teams call. So you kind of have a lot of control as what device you're going to end up using. So I know, Derek and I, we have Teams phones, but do we use them often? No, we tend to use our PC because we're always on our PCs. So you can kind of decide what methodology works the best for you.
Yeah, and if I'm missing a question in the chat, feel free to unmute and just ask it. Because I'm having a hard time scrolling up and down with sharing and everything. Wouldn't let me scroll the whole way back up.
Hey, Derek, what would you like us to do with the short telephones then?
Please keep them there for now. We're just, again, we want to make sure everything's working and working how we expect it to before we remove those devices. We might come and grab them early next week, but I just wanted to get everyone trained and everyone feeling more comfortable with the phones before we removed everything. And the dial extension, I hesitate to say this, but dial extension still works on those phones. Now, I want everyone to try to use their Teams phone more, obviously, because that's what we're moving to. But if in case of emergency, if something were to happen and your Teams phone wouldn't happen to be working right now, you could still use that phone. But I want to keep them there just for a little bit longer. Anyone else?
This is Derek. The training room phones.
Yes.
Would that athletic trainer at Donegal, will that work to sign them in?
That might not have a license, but we could use that account. So hit me up when we're done with this training, and I could probably just assign a license to that, and then you could sign in with that. And then we'll give that to the office. I'm going to work with the offices of each building to say, here are the rooms that we have no one specifically assigned in that room. So we'll need a generic account, and your trainer's office would be one of those. So if you already have that account, we can just make sure we name it something so that it'll be easy for them to remember. But then they'll have a list, and they might even, I think that they'll get a list together like the extension list we currently have with everyone's name on it, maybe their direct dial number. I'm not sure how they want to handle that, but then we'll have the generic accounts in there as well.
Okay. I'd like just to be able to separate those.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you for your time. If you have questions, feel free to put a work order in and let us know, and we'll stop by and go over things if we need to. We're here for you, so we're not trying to just throw something at you and say, nope. So this is what would happen. Never mind. Cyber. Swear. No, so we're here for you. We're trying to work through this together and make sure everyone understands the new phones and can use them easily. So thank you again for your time, and I guess I'll leave you with that. Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks, Derek.